and then bring your hand just in front of the face. So draw your belly button to your spine to engage your core, and then press nice and strong back up to all fours. So other side, we're going to reach up to the ceiling with the left hand, following that thumb with your gaze, threading the left arm behind the right, and then inhaling, reaching back up. Exhaling, threading that needle once again, left behind the right arm. Inhaling, reaching back up. Exhaling, threading that needle. So back of the left hand, the left shoulder, the left side of the face onto the mat. Again, just check that weight distribution in both knees. And then you can either press that right hand into the mat to increase the twist, or walk the right hand out overhead and stretching into that right shoulder. Any of these variations that you're comfortable with, please do. And then place your right hand in front of your face. Draw the belly button to the spine to engage the core, pressing back up to that tabletop position, and then shift your weight back onto your heels. Okay, so we've just done quite a bit of shoulder work, forearm work, so we're just going to extend the arms out in front of us. We're going to circle those wrists in one direction, circle them the other. So we did do this last week, and I did say we were going to continue doing this. So we're going to try and just build up a little bit of strength in the forearms. I know you're not going to like this. So extending the arms out in front of you. So you're going to clench our fists, and then we're going to extend the hands, extend the fingers, really stretch them as high as you can get. So I'm just going to move forward a little bit so I can see the timer. So, and then we're just going to just do this as fast as you can. And about now you should just start feeling your arms begin to burn. Certainly generating warmth, if not quite catching fire. Please stop if your arms do catch fire. Obviously we don't want that. So it feels like it's been an hour or so already. It's actually been 20 seconds. So, there's just nothing fun about this. So, while all of this disruption and chaos that's going on in your arms, and the nervous system that's telling you, please stop, what are you doing, what are you doing, please stop. So when we practice yoga, take your awareness within, focus on that breath, trying to find peace amongst all of the chaos. Easier said than done, I know. And then release. So, yeah, quite a challenging one that is. But we only ever grip with our hands. We only ever grip with them. The extensor muscles are literally just there just to release your grip. Whereas doing that builds up the strength in the backs of the arms, and it actually makes your wrists. It's not actually your wrists; it's the muscles around here. If you can engage all these muscles, all of the muscles in your forearms, that takes the burden off of your wrists in any of the like sort of arm balances, or even tabletop pose, downward facing dog, and all those. But yeah, so it's a good thing to build that up. Anyway, where were we? We were working on core strength and bends, back bends. Okay, so or core strength and bends rather. Where was I? Got distracted there. Okay, So coming back briefly onto our tabletop with those newly tenderised forearms that you've just acquired. Sorry, not sorry. Curling the toes underneath, I'm going to shift the weight back. Taking the gaze between the toes, slide those hands away. Inhaling to prepare. On an exhale, we're going to lift those knees. And then on an exhale again, I'm going to slowly, with control, take that tailbone up towards the ceiling as you arrive in your downward facing dog. Pressing that, arching that spine, shifting your weight forwards as you arrive in a plank position. So again, we're lifting up and out the shoulders. Grip the floor with your fingertips, really gripping the ground. And then slowly arching that back once again, taking that tailbone all the way back, shifting your weight slowly backwards towards your heels, arriving back in that downward facing dog. And then once again, arching, shifting your weight forwards to arrive in that plank position. And then we're going to lower ourselves down onto our forearms. So I'll just turn the face on so you can see what I'm doing here. So what I'm going to do, so your elbows are beneath your shoulders. I'm just going to place your arms, so if you need to just bring your knees to the mat while you do this. So you want your right arm in front of your left arm. So you can do this on your knees. You can do this on your knees like that. If you can, straighten the legs, pressing the heels towards the back wall. So what we're going to do, using the left arm, I'm going to follow this thumb with your gaze. I'm going to reach up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, we're going to thread that needle, but not coming to the ground, following that thumb with your gaze. Inhaling, back up to the ceiling. Exhaling, focus on that thumbnail. Trying to find peace. Easier said than done, amongst all of the effort that you're putting in. Just do 3, stack the arm down, and just melt onto the floor and mutter about me under your breath, because I'm not very nice. No, just kidding. So, yippee, we've got to do that on the other side. Oh, I can hear the enthusiasm from here. So what we're going to do, your left arm, elbows beneath your shoulders, left arm in front of right. You can do this on your knees if you need to, if you can, pressing those heels towards the wall behind you. And then we're going to reach up with that right hand, following that right thumb with your gaze. I'm going to thread that needle, thread that arm behind the other, inhaling back up to the ceiling, exhaling slowly with control. And then re-threading that needle, and then returning the arms back together and just melt down onto the floor. So placing the hands underneath your shoulders, elbows tucked by your sides, curl those toes. You're going to lift up via that tabletop position, shift your weight all the way back onto your heels, and then press that tailbone up towards the ceiling to arrive in your downward facing dog. And then I'm going to lift the right foot up towards the ceiling. and then we're going to step all the way through between the hands, landing lightly. If your foot only comes part of the way, just give it a bit of encouragement, get it to the front edge of the mat, and then we're going to drop that back knee on the mat, that back foot on the mat. So if you do need your blocks, just to for a bit of stability, please do. So I'm pressing that tailbone towards that front heel, and then I'm going to place so as you look at me, so it's my right foot, my left hand, and then I'm going to reach up towards the ceiling with my right hand. Some of you may want to have a straightened leg as you do this. Apologies, I clearly didn't mute my phone. And then taking that hand down to the block there, we'll do that on the other side. So reaching up with the other hand. And then place that down. So I'm going to do the crescent moon. I'll turn back around here so you can see what I mean. So you're taking the tailbone towards that front heel, so it's a deep stretch down the psoas here. So drawing that belly button towards the spine, engaging the core, and then we're going to sweep the arms forwards, drawing a huge circle with your fingertips, looking up towards the ceiling. Some of you may be able to invite a bit of a back bend here. Your core absolutely must be switched on to protect your lower back. We do not want anybody having any injuries. Feel those abs working, and then just coming up to a neutral spine, so your spine is straight, and then we're going to take the arms out into a T shape, twisting one way, energizing into those hands, and then take the arms back up and overhead, neutral spine, and take the arms the other way. Inhaling, taking the arms up and overhead, returning your hands to the blocks, stepping back onto your knee, shifting your weight back. If you need to just take a couple of breaths in child's pose, please do. Or sliding those hands away from you, take your gaze between your big toes, curling those big toes again, sorry. And we're doing that on the other side. So inhale to prepare, on an exhale lifting the knees, a couple of breaths, and then taking that tailbone all the way up to the ceiling, downward facing dog. And then on an inhale, taking the left foot up towards the ceiling before stepping all the way through between your hands. Again, if it only comes part of the way, just give it a bit of a helping hand, get it in between your hands. So back knee to the ground, back foot to the ground. So just be mindful that this knee isn't wandering forwards of that ankle. So your ankle should be below the knee. This will help protect the knee joint. Again, you might need your blocks here. So we're just going to do the twist. So left foot, right block, right hand. We're just going to reach up with that left hand. Other side, reaching up with the right hand. Scratch your itchy chin. And then turn that hand also to the block. So we're going to come into the crescent moon. So taking that tailbone towards that front heel there, coming up into that lunge. So it's really important, absolutely imperative, your core is fired up here. Draw that belly button to your spine, feel all your abs engaging, and we're going to reach forward and draw as big a circle with your fingertips, a bigger crescent moon with your fingertips. Your gaze either up towards the ceiling. You may be able to invite a bit of a back bend here. Your core must be protecting your lower back. Core on. and then coming up to a neutral spine, and then we're going to twist one way into a T shape. One way definitely feels a lot less pleasant than the other, not going to lie. Inhaling, taking the arms up and overhead, exhaling, twisting the other way. Inhale, take the arms up and overhead, and then return the hands to the blocks or to the floor, and then we're going to step that foot back and then shift your weight back into your child's pose. Stack your hands and just take a few well-earned breaths. Let me just have a quick check of the time. And then we're going to come up to a seated position, and we're going to just stretch our legs out in front of us. So we're going to do a seated spinal twist. So just pulling the fleshy bits out from under your sit bones. The other day in class I said pull your sit bones out of your fleshy bits, which would be quite painful. Anyway, pull your fleshy bits out from under your sit bones. Sitting up nice and tall, raising the crown of the head towards the ceiling, flexing those toes towards yourself. That will feel the legs engaged. When you lift your crown of your head, feel your torso engaged. So this is called a seated staff pose. Hands on the floor next to you. And then we're going to draw the right knee in, so your foot is level with your knee. I'm just going to lift. You can either have your foot on the have your foot inside the knee, or maybe cross it over to the opposite side of the knee. Lengthening through the crown of the head. We're just going to turn the torso towards that front bend leg, and we're just going to either hug the that bent knee towards you, or some of you may be able to bring the outside of the elbow outside of that knee. That makes quite a difference in the twist. Turn sideways so you can see what that actually looks like. So you're either hugging this leg in, you just have your reaching up with your back hand, place that behind you just to support you. You can either hug that leg in with your arm, or bring the elbow outside of that knee to increase that twist. Inhale to prepare, on an exhale, coming into a seated spinal twist, looking over the back shoulder. Try to be mindful of this front foot, keeping that foot flexed towards yourself. It's a considerable checklist in this one. There is quite a lot going on. And then, remember to breathe deeply. Some of you may be able to look over your back shoulder. If this is as far as you go and you're just hugging your leg in, that's perfect. And then on an inhale, we're going to release that twist. We're going to go all the way around to the opposite side. So releasing the twist, go all the way around to the opposite side, place both hands on the mat. Just bend forward just a little bit, just for a couple of breaths here. Just releasing the tension out of the spine, and then come back to center. Draw both knees in, give yourself a bit of a hug. A couple of breaths here. So straighten those legs out in front of you once again. Lengthening through the crown of the head, those toes are flexed towards yourself, your legs are engaged. And we're going to draw the left leg in. Oh dear. So to about knee level. You can either have it on the inside of the knee and twist towards it, or if you can, bring it to the outside of that knee. Be mindful this front foot is flexed towards, trying to keep that straight leg engaged. Lengthening through the crown of the head towards the ceiling. So you can either just hug that leg in, reach up with your back hand before placing it behind you to support you, just stabilise yourself. You can either just hug that leg in or bring that elbow outside of that knee. Spinal twist this way around. Just turn around this way so you can see a bit better. And then coming back to centre, taking your, coming back to centre, going all the way around to the opposite side, placing both hands on the mat and bending forwards, just to release the tension out of your spine, and then come back to the centre. Okay, so from there we're going to recline down onto the floor, and we're going to do one of my favourites anyway, boat pose. Boat pose. So pull the fleshy bits out from under your sit bones, placing the hands just behind the knees, lengthen through the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. We're going to shift our weight back onto our balance point until your toes become light. You can either raise one foot or both feet just off of the ground. If you need to have your fingers on the ground for stability, that's fine. So you may, some of you may just work from here. Some of you may want to even straighten your legs. Some of you may want to even release the arms and arrive in the full boat pose. Just turn around so you can see what it looks like from front. And just focusing on your breath, trying to hold this. You have no choice but to have your core engaged in this. It is most definitely a core. And then we're just going to shift your weight forwards, hug those legs in. Muttering things under your breath about how cruel this yoga teacher is. I'm not cruel, I'm just trying to help. So, anyway, lengthening through the crown of the head, placing the hands just behind the knees. You're going to shift the weight back, find that balance point once again. Boat pose once more, gazes forwards. You can either raise one foot or both feet. You may be able to release your hands. You may need to use your fingertips to stabilise yourself. You may be able to straighten your legs. You may even be able to bring your arms out to the sides. So we're going to work into the core now. So we're going to count down from 58, 57, 56, 55, 54. Who am I kidding? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Oh dear, just close your eyes, bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to rest out to the sides. And just savour those endorphins, those wonderful feel-good chemicals released by the brain. All the time, every time you do physical exercise, they're the bit that make you feel like it's really worth it. So, close the knees up together. I'm going to straighten the left leg out along the mat. I'm going to come into a reclined spinal twist.
So arms out into a T shape. My left leg is straight, my right knee is pointing towards the ceiling. So just very slightly tucking my chin to my chest. Inhale to prepare. On an exhale, I'm going to roll this bent leg over the straight leg, and then I'm going to just shuffle this lower hip underneath a little bit to enable the twist. Now I'm only looking this direction just for projecting my voice. I should really be looking the opposite way down, my straight arm away from this bent knee. So just for the ease of projecting my voice to you. So with the hand that's nearest this bent knee, I'm just going to place this hand on that knee and just invite the knee. I'm not forcing, I'm just inviting this knee down towards the floor. And then take your gaze down your straight arm. And inhaling back to center. Draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug, just releasing that tension out of the spine. And then we're going to straighten the right leg out along the mat this time. Left knee is pointing up towards the ceiling, arms out to a T shape once again. Tuck the chin very slightly towards the chest, lengthening through that spine. Inhaling to prepare, and then on an exhale we're going to roll the bent leg over the straight leg, shuffling that lower hip underneath you a little bit more. Use the hand nearest to that bent knee to invite that knee towards the ground, taking your gaze down the straight arm. So it's more important to keep the shoulders planted on the floor than getting that knee down to the floor. It's more important that your shoulders remain stable, and just invite the knee in that direction. How far it gets is entirely down to your physiology and your flexibility. I just felt my back click there, that was fantastic. Normally have to pay the chiropractor for that. Deep breaths. And then on an inhale, rolling back to center. Draw those knees in, give yourself another quick hug. Just have a quick time check. Okay, yeah. There's one more. There's one more move that one more thing that I'd like to do with freeing up the back. So like that, we're going to straighten the legs out. We're just going to roll over onto our bellies. Okay, so your forehead is on your wrists, and we're going to bring one knee up to about hip height. So your shin is parallel with the other thigh. And then, so from here, it's the, many of you will know this, we've done this before, there's a half frog, I think we've done this before anyway, but it's the half frog pose. But there's a bit of a twist involved in this. So from the half frog, so you've got from your torso down into your thighs 90 degrees, from that thigh down into that shin is 90 degrees, and the foot is pointing out to the side. So your forehead is on your wrists. What we're going to do is we're going to lift up into that Sphinx pose. So in my case, it's my right knee that's up, and then I'm going to reach up with my right hand and I'm going to thread that right arm behind the left. Deep breaths. And then come back to that Sphinx sort of arms. Restack the wrists, taking the knee back down to the side. So I'll do the other side from the front so you can see what I'm doing. So you're lying on your belly, forehead on your stacked hands. I'm going to take one leg out to the side again, so my body, torso going down into my thigh is a right angle, my thigh going down to my shin is a right angle, my foot sticking out to the side is also a right angle. So that's a half frog. It's actually quite a nice deep hip stretch in there as well. Quite a nice hip stretch. Anyway, so I'm going to lift up. I'm going to come up onto, so your elbows are beneath your shoulders. So it's my left leg in this case. So I'm going to reach up with my right hand, and I'm going to just thread that needle behind the other arm, and then gently nestle down. And inhaling, just bringing your arm back out of the threading needle. Stack your hands, straighten your leg out. And then we're just going to make our way, hands under the shoulders. We're going to press up back through that tabletop and just take a couple of breaths. In child's pose, just very mindfully arriving back in that deep child's pose. Forehead on the mat, take your hands all the way around to your ankles. Take a couple of deep breaths here, just to release any tension throughout the spine, the rib cage, all the way up into the shoulders. And then just walking the hands in and arriving in a comfortable seated position. So there's a couple of bits in there we've not done before, or this group hasn't done before. Please let me know how you get on with them. That final spinal twist might not be for everybody, but just, see how you get on with it. Okay. I'm going to be doing like a special offer for you guys. If you introduce, or if you invite a friend to like the group and they sign up, I'll give you a £10 discount, or £9 discount rather, off of the another 6-week course. So instead of being £29, it will be £20. So if you refer a friend, for want of a better expression, you get £10 off if they sign up, obviously. Yes, so I look forward to seeing you all again. Please give me any feedback. Really do appreciate the feedback you've been giving me up to now. It's been very helpful. It's difficult to know what everybody's abilities are and flexibilities, and I also appreciate that being horse owners, keepers, lovers, you're always very strapped for time. So I'm going to end this class now, and we'll have a few yoga bombs instead. So just bring your hands into a prayer. The light in me honours the light in you all. Thank you all so very much for practicing with me. Namaste.